Alrighty, good afternoon folks. I'm down here in my shop this afternoon working on a couple of these eval saddles that I've got in from Rick at J.C. Martin Saddlery, and we've had some discussions about the different types of rigging that he's putting on these Wade saddles and some of the other the other saddles that he's got in production. And there's a bit of confusion as to what type of rigging is out there on these saddles, and sometimes the pictures don't always line up with the descriptions. So I wanted to take three of the eval saddles that I have in today with different types of rigging on them that all come from J.C. Martin, and just give you a quick little video on what the rigging looks like and how it's designed and how it works, so there's no confusion when you're looking at these saddles. You'll be able to ask the right questions and figure out which rigging is best for you or which rigging you prefer. So this first saddle here I got is a standard lightweight. It has 7/8 flat plate rigging in it. Now what that means is there's a separate flat plate where this rigging is attached up here on the pommel and back here next to the cantle. It has a D-ring in the back, and it has your ring for your front cinch or for your front latigo up here. But it is a separate flat plate, and that is what's called flat plate rigging on these saddles. And the majority of them that come out, this is the type of rigging that you're going to find on the Wade saddles. So that is what flat plate rigging looks like. This next saddle is one of Rick's old timer saddles, and this is a D-rigged saddle. And what I mean by D-rigging, has a D-ring forward and a D-ring aft, and it can be attached. This one is attached into the jockey skirt on this particular one. A full D-rigged saddle, this D-ring would be attached more up here on the top of the tree near the cantle. And this one is also up here by the pommel. This is a fully D-rigged saddle right here. Okay? And by what I mean by full D-rigged or full rigged, you're talking primarily about the front cinch. And the front cinch with a full rigged saddle, if you take a line straight down this pommel and your D-ring lines up right in the middle of it, or your rigging lines up in the front of it, that is fully rigged. 7/8 would be sitting back here just a little bit. 5/8 would be back in here. Center rigged would be here on your saddle. So this is a D-rigged saddle. Rick does have some Wade saddles that have come out recently that are D-rigged, very much like this one. And I believe most of his roping saddles are also D-rigged saddles. So this is what you're going to see when you're talking about a D-rigged saddle. Now, this last saddle, and this is where we've had some discussions. This is the brand new ultralight with a padded seat, and it's also come out with in-skirt rigging, which will hopefully cut down on some of the weight and some of the bulk underneath your legs. I rode this saddle, made a video on it with Kino the other day, but my computer ate it, so I'm going to have to redo it, and we're going to hopefully do it tomorrow. We're going to have a nice day, and you'll get to see it on a horse. But what I'm talking about in-skirt rigged saddles refers primarily to this front ring. Okay, your cinch ring or your latigo ring is integrated right into the skirt. There's not a separate piece of leather like you see on this flat rigged saddle, on the flat plate saddle over here. It's pretty obvious to see you got that extra plate there on a 7/8 plate rigging, whereas this one doesn't have that. So it alleviates some of the bulk on this saddle. This also theoretically will pull down a little bit tighter on your horse, maybe be a little bit more stable, and it also is less bulky. So on your back ring, this one is D-rigged up here onto the top of the skirt. You can also have an in-skirt latigo back here as well, where they just cut a hole into this skirt and then attach your latigo or your billet right into the skirt. Function wise, it doesn't really make any difference for this back one. This will give you a little bit more play as opposed to just a slot in the skirt, but it really doesn't matter. This position here is also 7/8, and if you move it back a little bit more to 3/4 or 5/8, it would be back in here someplace. So that, my friends, is the difference between different types of rigging on these saddles. These have been confused and called flat plate rigging, and they're not. This is an in-skirt rig saddle. Okay? This is flat plate. The trees and everything on these are all the same, but the rigging is completely different. Okay? In-skirt. Take note. In-skirt. Flat plate. And last but not least, the D-rig saddle. So I hope that helps you guys when you're in the middle of looking at these saddles and picking out which one you want to order. All very nice saddles, and I think you'll enjoy them depending on what you want to do with them. They're all super nice saddles, and go check them out. Thanks, and have a great day.